I am Mrs. Visalaji, working as a social teacher in Trinity Matriculation Higher Secondary School in Namakkal. Now I am going to teach 8th Standard History. Unit 3, Rural Life and Society. In the pro-colonial period, Indian economy was predominantly an agrarian economic. Agriculture was the primary occupation of the people, and even industrials like textiles, sugar, oil, and etc. were dependent on it. The British government in India did not adopt a pro Indian agriculture and land revenue policy. British government introduced three major land revenue system in India, namely the permanent settlement, the Mahatwari system, and the Rautwari system. The economic exploitation of the peasants or farmers led to the revolt in future. The land revenue policy under the British. The first one is permanent settlement introduced by Lord Cornwallis, Rautwari system introduced Thomas Munro, and Mahatwari system introduced Lord William Bentinck. Permanent settlement. When Robert Clive obtained the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa in 1765, they used to be an annual settlement. Warren Hastings changed it from annual to quintennial and back to annual again. During the time of Cornwallis, a 10 years settlement was introduced in 1793 and it was known permanent settlement. Permanent settlements were made in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Varanasi, divisions of Uttar Pradesh, and northern Karnataka, which roughly covered 19% of the total area of British India. It was known by different names like Zamindari, Jagaddari. Salient features of the permanent settlement. The Zamindars were recognized as the owners of the land as long as they paid the revenue to the East Indian Company regularly. The Zamindars act as the agent of the government for the collection of revenue from the collectors. The next one is the amount of the revenue that the Zamindars had to pay to the company was firmly fixed and would not be raised under any circumstances. They gave 10 by 11 of the revenue collected by them from the cultivator to the government. The Zamindars would grant patta in the riots. The riots become tenants since they were considered the tillers of the soil. All judicial power were taken away from the Zamindars. Some merits and demerits of permanent settlement. First merit. Under this system, many of the wastelands and forests become cultivatable lands. The Zamindars become the owner of the land. The Zamindars were made free from the responsibility of providing justice. The Zamindars remained faithful to the British government. This system secured a fixed and stable income for the British government. Now, demerits. The British government had no direct contact with the cultivators. The right of the cultivators were ignored and they were left as a mercy of the zamindars. The peasants were almost treated as slaves. Many conflicts between the zamindars and the peasants across in rural Bengal. Rautwari system. Rautwari system was introduced by Thomas Mentro and Captain Reed in 1820. Major areas of introduction of Rautwari system including Madras, Bombay, parts of Assam and Cargo provinces of British India. By Rautwari system, the rights of ownership was handed over to the peasants. British government collected taxes directly from the peasants instantly. One half of the estimated produced was fixed as a rent. This assessment was reduced to one third of the produced by Thomas Mentro. The revenue was based on the basic of the soil and the nature of the crop. Rents would be periodically revised, generally after 20 to 30 years. The position of the cultivators become more secure. In this system, the settlements was made between the government and the ryots. In fact, the government later claimed that the land revenue was rent and not a tax. Salient features of Rautwari system. Revenue settlement was done directly with the ryots. Measurement of field and an estimate of produce was calculated. Government fixed the demand at 45% to 55% of the produce. Effects of the Rautwari settlement. In most areas, the land revenue fixed was excessive. The ryots were hardly left with the maintenance even in the best of seasons. Under this system, the government exploited the farmers instead of jamindars. Mahalwari system. Mahalwari system, a brainchild of a Holt Martins, was modified vision of the Zamindar settlement introduced in Ganga Valley, the northwestern province, part of the central India and Punjab in 1822. Lord William Wenting was to suggest radical changes in the Mahalwari system. In the year is 1833. Assessment of revenue was to be made on the basis of the production of the mahal or village. All the properties of mahal were severally and joined responsible for the payment of revenue. Instead, the state share was fixed, two-thirds of the gross production. Bentinck, therefore, reduced the 50 percentage. The village as a whole, through its headman or lamred, was fixed adapted in Agra and ever later it extended the other part of the United Provinces. The burden of all this heavy taxation finally fell on the cultivators. Salient features of Mahatwari settlement. The Lambada act as a intermediated between the government and the villagers. It was a village wise assessment. One person could hold a number of villages. The village community was the owner of the village common land. The village land belongs to the village community. Effects of the Mahatwari settlement. The Lambada enjoyed privileges which was misused for the self-interest. This system brought no benefit to the cultivators. It was a modified vision of the Zamindar settlement and benefited the upper class in village. Impact of the British land revenue settlement on the cultivators. A common features of the settlement was the assessment and the maximized income from the land. It resulted in increasing land sales and disposal. The peasants were overburdened with taxation due to the tax burden and famine in general. The people suffered in poverty and burdened with debits. They had to seek the money lenders who become rich and adequate land from the peasants. The zamindars, money lenders, and lawyers exploit the poor peasants. Cottage industries disappeared on account of the import of British goods, and the peasants had nothing to supplement the income. The old body of the customs was replaced by new appearance of law, court, fee, lawyers, and formal positions. The British policy provided advantage only to the government of the privileged sections of the society at the cost of the cultivators who were the rightful owners of their land and claimant on the larger share of the producers. Peasants' revolts. The British rule in India brought about many changes in the agrarian system in the country. The old agrarian system collapsed, and under the new system, they tried to extract as much as they could from the cultivators of land. The lives of the peasants were extremely miserable. The various peasants' movement and uprising during 19th and 20th centuries were in the nature of the protest against of the existing conditions under which the exploitation knew no limits. Santhal Rebellion. The first revolt, which can be regarded as peasants' revolt, was Santhal Rebellion in 1855-56. The land near the hills of Rajmal in Bihar was cultivated by the Santhals. The landlords and money lenders from the city took advantage of the ignorance and began gribbling their lands. This created bitter resentment among the leading to the armed uprising in 1855. Consequently, under the belief of a divine order, around 10,000 Santhals gathered under two Santhal brothers, namely Sidhu and Kanha, to free the country of the foreign apprisement of government of their own. The houses of the European planters, British officers, railway engineers, zamindars, and money lenders were attacked. The rebellion continued till February 1856, when the rebel leaders were captured and the mountain was put down with the heavy hand. The government declared the propagandas inhabited by them as Santhal pregnants so that the lands and the identity could be safeguarded from external encroachment. Indigo revolts. The Bengal indigo cultivators strike was the most military and widespread peasants' uprisings. The European indigo planters compelled the tenants farmers to grow indigo at term highly disadvantageous to the farmers. The tenant farmer was forced to sell it cheap to the planter and accepted advantage from the planter that benefited the latter. There were also cases of kidnapping and burning. Factories were burned down and the revolt spread. To take control of the situation, the government set up an Indigo Commission in 1860 whose recommended formed part of Act 6 of 1862. The indigo planters of Bengal, however, moved to the settling in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. The newspaper Hindu Patriot brought to highlight the misery of the cultivators several times. The people and the government towards the misery of the indigo cultivators. Pabna Revolt. Pabna Peasants' Uprising was the resistance movement by the peasants against the suppression of the zamindars. It was led by Kesar Chandra Roy. The zamindars routinely collect money from the peasants by the illegal means of forced labor. Large crowd of peasants gathered and marched through villages fighting the zamindars and appealed to other peasants to join with them. Funds were raised from the roads to meet the cost. The struggle gradually spread throughout Patna and then to the other district of East Bengal. The main form of struggle was that of legal resistance. There was very little violence. It crowded only when the zamindars tried to compel the roads to submit to their terms by force. There were only a few cause of looking at the house of the zamindars. A few attacks on the police station took place and in the peasants also resisted attempt to execute court districts. Hardly zamindars and the zamindars' agents were killed or seriously injured. In the course of the movement, the rout developed a strong awareness of the law and their legal rights, and the ability to combine and force association for peaceful aggression. Deccan riots. In 1875, the peasants revolted in the district of Pune. That event has been called the Deccan riots. The peasants revolted primary agriculture of opposition of the local money lenders who were grumbled the lands systematically. The uprising started from the village in Pune district when the village people forced out a local money lender from the village and captured his property. Gradually, the uprising spread over 33 villages, and the peasants looked the property of Maswa Saharas. The uprising turned into the violent when the Sakuras took help of the police. It was suppressed only when the army was called to control it. However, it resulted in passing of the Deccan Agriculturist Relief Act, which removed some of the most serious grievances of the peasants. Punjab Peasant Movement. The peasants of Punjab, the province of the land to the urban money lenders for failure to pay debit. The British India did not want any revolt in the province which provide a large number of soldiers to the British Army in India. In order to protect the peasants of the Punjab Land Allegation Act was passed in 1900 as an experiment measures to the extended to the rest of the India if it is worked successfully in the Punjab. The act divided the population of the Punjab into three categories: the agriculture classes, the sanctuary classes, and the rest of the population includes the money lenders. Restrictions were imposed on the sale of the land from the first category to the other two categories. Champaran Satyagraha. The European planters of Champaran in Bihar restored to illegal and inhuman methods of indigo cultivation at the cost which was oddly unjust. Under the Tinkata system in Champana, the peasants were bound by law to grow indigo and 320 part of their land and send the same to the British planters at price fixed by them. They were liable to unlawful extortion and opposition by the planters. Mahatma Gandhi took up the case. The government appointed an inquiry commission of which Mahatma Gandhi was a member. The grievances of the peasants were inquired and ultimately the Chambrana Agrarian Act was passed in May 1918. Khada Satyagraha. In the Khada district of Gujarat, due to consequent famine, agriculture failed in 1819, but the officers insist on collection of full land revenue. The local peasants therefore started a no tax movement in Khada district in 1918. Gandhiji accepted the leadership of this movement. Gandhiji organized the peasants to offer satyagraha and opposed official insistence on full collection of oppressive land revenue deposit, the conditions of famine. He inspired the peasants to be fearless and face all consequences. The response to his call was unproceeding, and the government had to bow the settlement with the peasants. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel emerged as an important leader of the Indian freedom struggle during this period. Mabla Rebellion. The Muslim Mabla peasants of Malabar was suppressed and exploited by the Hindu zamindars and British government. This was the main causes of the rebellion. The Mabla peasants got monument from the Malabar District Conference held in April 1920. This conference supported the tenants and they demanded legislation for regulating landlord tenant relations. In August 1921, the Mabla tenants rebelled against the oppositive zamindars. In the instant perhaps of the rebellion, the Mabla peasants attacked the police station, public office, communication, and house of the oppositive landlords and money lenders. By December 1921, the government ruthlessly supported the Mabla rebellion. According to an official estimate, as a result of the government intervention, 2,337 rebels were killed. 1,650 wounded and more than 4,000 captured as prisoners. Badori Satyagraha. In 1928, the peasants of Badori, it is located in Gujarat, started the agrarian under the leadership of Sardar Vallabhai Patel in protest against the government proposal to increasing land revenue by 30%. The peasants refused to pay tax at the encouraged rate and started no tax campaign from 12th February 1929. Many women also participated in this camp. In 1930, the peasants of Badori rose to the men, refused to pay taxes, faced the action sale and eventual loss of almost all of their lands, but refused to submit to the government. However, all their lands were returned to them when the Congress came to the power in 1937. In this lesson, we learn the British government in India did not adopt a pro Indian agriculture and land revenue policy. Lord Cornwallis introduced permanent settlement in 1793. Rautwari system was introduced by Thomas Minto and Captain Reed in 1820. Mahatwari system was a brainchild of Holt Markle. The land near the hills of Rajmal in Bihar was cultivated by the Santals. In 1875, the peasants revolt in the district of Pune. That event has been called the Deccan Riots. The Punjab Land Allegation Act was passed in 1900. In August 1921, the Mobla tenant rebel against the oppositive Zamindars. The last one is the peasants of Bardohi in Gujarat started the aggression under the leadership of Sardar Vallabhai Patel. Thank you very much.